Hi.
My name's Catie, and you are?
I'm Toni Marcus.
Can I call you Toni?
Yeah.
Alright, so before we begin, would you like a drink of water, or do you need to go to the bathroom?
I'm okay.
Alright, so just so you know for future reference, the bathroom is going to be down the hall to the left.
Okay.
Now, you referred to me because you've been struggling through some things. Basically what I heard, or what you stated when you called in was that you've been struggling a lot with trying to have personal time. Seems like mainly everything's been about your family. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I mean, we live with my parents, and so I'm just trying to work and get enough money to where I can move out of my parents' house, because growing up in a house where you have to share with your parents is kind of hard, and it's very constrictive on room, and I just want my children to be able to do more things and stuff.
Can you tell me what led to you living with your parents, or have you just been...
Well, I worked with a company for 15 years, and I lost my job. And so it's been really hard just not being able to have that job that I used to have.
Tough. Yeah.
And trying to find a new job that will be compatible with the pay rate that I had at the last job. I mean, it's really difficult because the new job I have doesn't pay well.
Yeah.
It's just hard to raise 2 kids and find a house, and then,
I can see that you sound like you're kind of overwhelmed. Is that
just a little bit? Yeah.
So definitely a feeling of being overwhelmed.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm gonna go or what I'm gonna do, and I don't want my children to have to worry about it, because I know what it's like to have to watch someone struggle, and it's not fun, and you feel like as a kid you're being responsible or being held at that responsibility. And I don't want my kids growing up with that feeling.
I can see you really care about your kids and you really want what's best for them. Can you tell me a little bit more about your relationship with your kids?
Honestly, my kids are starting to act out. I have a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old, and it's just hard to maintain those 2 different types of ages together, because the 12-year-old wants to be off and doing their own thing, and the 7-year-old is very clingy. And it's really hard and we just don't have that family time anymore.
Sounds like you want to create like a balance between them, but you're not getting a lot of time together.
No, it's just so hard, and no matter what I try, it just creates more problems, and I don't know, I feel equally responsible, because if I had a better job, my kids wouldn't be so worried about it, and maybe that's why they're starting to act out. I don't know, but I just want to be a family again.
Yeah. How much time do you get to spend with your family?
Honestly, not a lot. I don't have a husband, so it's just them when I'm at work, and if I try and force anything on top of them, parental-wise, they just kind of take a back seat to it, and they don't really respond much. We don't have that family interaction that we desperately need to be a family again.
Can I ask about your husband? Like, is it a divorce situation?
No, my husband passed away.
I'm so sorry to hear about that, and I don't want to make things harder on you. Can you tell me how long ago that was? Is it fairly recent, or
it was a few years ago.
A few years ago?
About 7.
Before, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for your loss, and I don't want to interrupt you, but before you lost your job, how was your family interaction?
It was pretty nice. I mean, we were a family. We didn't have a lot to worry about, because we had a good comparable salary, because we were with the company for so long.
Oh, nice.
And so that gave us a lot more room to have family time and to have extra activities.
So you kind of feel like because of the loss of your job and you having to work a little bit more to try to make up for that salary difference, that you're not really able to spend enough time with your kids?
No, when I get home, they're either off at friends' houses or in bed asleep. And so I never really get to see my kids anymore.
So I'm hearing that, family and wanting to spend more time with your kids, that's something that's really important to you.
Yeah.
What about in your personal life?
Well, I've had some offers for dates, and there's this one guy I've been talking to, and
Aw.
he's the sweetest thing since my husband died, and he's very understanding and everything. But I don't know how comfortable I am having him around my kids, or just being out in a relationship. I mean, it's really scary.
Yeah.
After 7 years of not being in a relationship, and it's just too hard. And so I'm just so scared of that. If I put myself out there, it could all go horribly wrong and create an even bigger mess than we're already in.
Yeah, that's really hard, especially when you have kids in the mix.
Yeah.
You mentioned, being afraid for him around the kids. Like, what makes you afraid? Is it like you're afraid it's not going to work out?
I'm afraid it's not going to work out. The kids might get attached to him. Or, it could be the other way around. They may just see him as, someone who's trying to take their mom away, as well as their mom always working all the time, so they're not even going to get to be around their mom. And that might just make them angry or, deprived or scared, and they may not understand everything.
Yeah.
And that's just too difficult to explain. It'd be just better on my own, but at the same time, I desperately miss that companionship.
I understand, and you seem like a really great mom who just wants to put her kids first, which is really nice to see. Well, you say you desperately miss that companionship, and this guy that's made offers, is that something, maybe if you had a couple dates, you see you could go further, or?
Honestly, it could probably go somewhere wonderful, and he acts exactly how my last husband did, and he's just wonderful, but I'm just scared that, I don't have a lot of time to be wasting, and to give someone that time would just mean that I would be having to put that leap of faith, and I'm just kind of scared that if it doesn't work out, I wasted that time that I could have been spending with my kids.
Do you think there would be a way, you could incorporate some family time, but also maybe go out on a date or two, like maybe once a month or something like that?
Maybe.
Because it sounds like this is something that you really would like to do. You're just letting, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're just letting that fear for your kids stop you. And it sounds like, you did have a really great relationship with your kids, but, with the unsettling of your job, that's kind of upset the relationship. But I think you could get that back, So, wanting to have some personal time, maybe date. Is that something you do want to do? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't wanted to for a long time, but this guy just reminds me so much of my past husband, and it's just really nice to see that again. I never thought I would have that again, that connection.
So he's definitely a promising candidate.
Yeah. He said that I also remind him of someone that he's lost too, and that he just wants to take things slow, and he understands my point of view, and he's accepting of my kids, and so that's what I really love. He wants to meet them, but I'm just scared that if they get attached or they don't like him, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
That's really tough, especially with the current situation and things being unsettled how it is. Before we go any more into that, though, what about your personal time with just by yourself, or with other friends?
What personal time? Between managing a job and having 2 kids, I have no life for myself.
So
I would love to just have a spa day one day, or go out and just read a book and sip coffee.
Do you have any close personal friends that you talk to, or has the job situation kind of gotten in the way of that? Or
well, there were so many of us who worked at the same company for so many years, and we kind of just went off on our own separate ways after we lost our jobs, because I wasn't the only one, and after that separation, we still live in the same town, and our kids still go to school together, but we never see each other anymore. And the girls were planning a get together one night, but I couldn't go. and they miss me and I miss them, and I would just love to get out and do that one night.
Yeah, just
I always have one day a month where I can get out and just go, but I feel like I never have any time.
Is it, with the feeling of not having any time, is it because you work all the time, or is it because, after you work you feel really stressed, or?
Well, when I get off at night, it's just really late.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get home to my kids, even though I know that they're probably going to be asleep.
Mm-hmm. How many days a week do you work?
I work about 5.
5?
I mean, so many shifts.
Yeah.
Non-stop from morning till late evening.
That's difficult. Do you normally have the weekends off, or is it?
Generally it varies, but normally I do have the weekends off for work, so I can have some time with my kids. But those days they just want to be out on their own. They don't want mom around. And they go hang out with their friends.
And you probably want to sleep in and rest a little bit too.
It is nice to rest. Sometimes my 7-year-old will come in and sleep with me, but then she'll want to go off and do her own little thing, and she won't want mommy anymore. So.
Well, from what you've said, I'm sure they love you very much. And you know how those teenagers get that 12-year-old almost in the teens.
Oh, God, help me through this.
So, in hearing what you're saying and establishing or talking about the overall issue, what would you say that you want most out of this therapy?
To construct something to where I can get, my kids in order and have family nights and to be able to go out on a date and have some personal time.
So would you say maybe having a goal of, being more stable in your personal life, being able to do a little bit more when it comes to your personal life?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would be really nice to just create a schedule that I can just have for my personal life, but then also have it intertwining with my other areas in my life, work and kids.
So, maybe with an overall goal of, being more stable in your personal life, we could have some objectives in there, having to do with, your kids, with being able to have a spa night, maybe with friends or something like that, and maybe being able to have some time with that cute guy,
That would be nice.
So, being able to be with your kids, what's something, do you think you'd be able to have a family night, or are you thinking maybe a movie night on the weekends? What are you thinking?
Well, I remember when life was good and we were a whole family. We had a family game night where we would just play a game and eat dinner and just talk and then have a late night movie. And it was just nice to have that, and the kids loved it.
Yeah.
And we loved seeing them be so happy, and that's one of the fondest memories I have, and that's what I would hope to get back.
Is there any night during the week that you get off earlier, or?
Well, Friday nights usually are the better times, because there's not a lot of work to be done, because most people just want to either take off early for the weekends, or the boss sometimes lets us off early because he has kids and he knows that, some of us need to just be with our kids during the weekends. So Friday nights generally I get off earlier.
That would be nice. The kids won't have to worry about school the next day either.
Yeah.
Would you want to also incorporate your parents into this, or do you think it's something you just want between you and your kids?
I mean, my parents, they need to be with their grandkids, but at the same time, I would like just to have some mom and kids time. So that might fluctuate a little bit and just vary.
So maybe every other week it's with the whole family?
Every other weekend. Now, if we got some extra things, because I know that my mom would love to just come over and take care of the kids on Wednesday nights after church. She would love to take them to church, and so that's generally what they do, and so they have a lot of grandparent time on that time.
So you just need some mama kid time.
Yes, yes. And don't get me wrong, I love it when they have their grandparents, but I want to be selfish for a little bit and just have that mommy and me time.
So maybe just instead of making it, just say, hey, Friday night's my night with my kids. You know, you get them Wednesday, and you see me, so
right.
Maybe Friday night, just make that a mommy and my little ducklings, and have that as your night together. Yeah. Do you think that sounds good?
Yeah.
Do you think that's feasible to do it every week, or would every other week work better? Or?
I think that it would benefit us if we did it every week.
Every week would be the best for you?
Yeah.
All right. And do you think you could actually start it by the end of this week and have it this Friday?
Yeah. I mean, I know that we'll be getting off work extra early, so helping and planning with my kids will probably, my 12-year-old will probably love it.
Good. There you go.
So, yeah, take her to the movies and just say, okay, pick a movie, and like, okay, so.
Alright.
Kids would love it.
Yeah. So we have a objective for you on this. So you're gonna agree to go ahead and set up and have a movie night every Friday of the week, and you're gonna start it by this coming Friday on May 15th, 2015. Yes. All right, that sounds good. So we still have your personal life when it comes to dating, and your personal life when it comes to girls' night out. Which one do you want to focus on now?
I don't care. How about the girls' night?
The girls' night?
Yeah.
I can sense some resistance still with that date.
Yeah.
Alright. So for girls' night, do you think there's a time? Well, you said weekends. So Saturday, I assume you don't have to work at all?
Saturdays, no, I never have to work, and either Sundays. But one of the girls has to stay overnight on Saturday. Friday night till Saturday morning.
Okay.
So probably Sunday would probably be the best for all of us because, I mean, while we are still religious, we don't do any things in the afternoons. And my kids like to go over to their friend's house, or they have a little youth center thing for the older ones.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my church has been a very big involvement in that, and thank God. Keeping my child somewhat within the boundaries of Christ.
It's always great when you have that extra support.
Oh, yes.
They say it takes a community to raise a kid, you know.
And I'm sure my parents would have no problems watching my 7-year-old. So if I could do something on a Sunday afternoon with the girls, that would be fantastic.
So have you discussed anything with them? Or?
We have talked about it, and Sunday is probably the best time that we've all decided, from at least 2 to 6.
2 to 6 would be best.
Yeah, that way we can get home and get dinner on the table for our kids, and help them with their last minute homework, and just put them in bed early.
So what's something you think you could do on a Sunday night?
Well, there's this wonderful tea garden that we've been thinking about going to. I mean,
nice.
It's really nice. It's called the Russian Tea Room, and it is the most beautiful place ever. I've only been there a couple of times, but when we went, it was just wonderful. The atmosphere is great. And then we've also been thinking about just going for a little drive to the country, because one of them has a lake that we would go swimming in, and just having girls' time there.
Sounds nice.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Sounds nice, and it sounds relaxing.
Yes. And in the country, we can take our kids so that they are well fed and well looked after, but also we have that time where we can be away, but the older ones can watch them.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
So, do you think do you want to shoot for once a month? Or twice a month? Or what do you want to shoot for?
Probably twice a month.
Twice a month?
Yeah.
You need that girl
time. Twice a month. I mean, there are some times where we know that we'll only have once a month, but that's fine with us.
So twice a month, girls' night out. Sounds good. Okay, let's talk about that man.
That man, Mr. Rick.
Oh.
He has the most beautiful eyes, and he has the best crooked smile that anyone could ever see.
I'm getting you really do want to go out with him. It's just, the fears with the kids.
Yeah.
It's a major factor in this.
Yeah. I see a lot of my husband and him, and I really want that guy.
Have you talked to the kids about him at all, or?
Well, my 7-year-old just doesn't really. She's not, into that. But my 12-year-old, I've talked to her, and she's not really happy on the thought that she knows that she needs a father too, and she needs to at least respect my will. So
yeah,
she's pretty good about that.
So it sounds like your 12-year-old, she's okay. Like, she understands.
She's starting to understand why it's important to me, and I think she sees that I struggle a lot too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think maybe with having the kids, the family night, that'll also help with their acceptance of everything.
Right. Because I don't want them to feel like they are less important than they're the most important thing to me.
So it sounds like what you need is a date night.
I would love to have a date night.
So you said he's already asked you out?
He has. He asked me out for next Saturday evening.
You want to say yes to him? Maybe make that an objective that you say yes and arrange everything and... Yeah.
I mean, I talked to my mom about it, and she said that she's more than willing to watch the kids and that she understands. And so I've been kind of leaning towards the idea of going out next Saturday.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
So we'll make that one of your objectives too, to have you agree that you're going to go out with him and you're going to arrange a date by the end of this week.
Okay.
And, get everything sorted out, and then you're going to go on that date Saturday. Okay? Now, do you feel like you want to come back in a couple more times? Usually we do 8 weeks, then assess where you're at and see if you want to do to conclude the practice. But do you feel like you're fine right now, or do you want to do some follow-up sessions?
Maybe some follow-up sessions just to make sure I'm doing everything right.
Well, I think you know what you want to do. You just need a little encouragement.
Probably. But yeah, maybe like once out of a week or every other week or once out of a month, just to see or if there are any major changes.
Now, would this time work for you every week? Or?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so this is a good time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to write up a contract for us, and that'll tell us how everything's going to go. If you give me a second. Okay, so I'll read it to you. Toni Marcus and I, Catie Lathrop, plan to meet together once a week for 1 hour-long session for the next 8 weeks. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Starting May 15th, 2015, not May 15th, sorry, May 18th, you have a family night to get to. May 18th, 2015, the client will work toward the goal of being more stable in our personal life through meeting objectives discussed and any future objectives the clients would like to establish.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
The worker client will discuss when to conclude our work based on consulting with or referring to someone else, completion of current or future objectives, or the end of the established 8 weeks.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and sign that?
Okay. An initial down here?
Yeah, sure. There you go. So, we're going to be meeting next Monday. Is that good?
Yep.
And we'll discuss everything that's happened over the week and how, all your arrangements have been.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
so
you
it was
so much.
a pleasure meeting with
Nice
you,
to meet
right?
you too.
Nice to meet you too.